So yeah, Miami Veteran all spawned from my boy Agony. He was like shouting out people on his Instagram in the community, and I was like, kind of like, yo, in my head, like when I saw it, I was like, dang, he didn't mention me, you know. And I felt a little butthurt a little bit, but then I was like, nah, you know, whatever. Maybe I just gotta work harder so people don't forget. You know what I mean?
It's my
Like
fault. It's
yeah,
you
yeah.
take self accountability and you're like,
I was like,
it's
damn.
my fault for not being as relevant. I have to force people to mention me, and I look at it like that all the time. It's
Yeah.
not their fault. It's my
You
fault
gotta
for not
be, you
going
gotta
as
be
hard.
undeniable, dog. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Undeniable.
be straight up
Undeniable.
undeniable, dog. You
It's
gotta work
powerful.
so hard where your name has to be mentioned when this conversation comes up. You know what I'm saying? So I took that energy, and I literally wrote Miami Veteran right after fucking, you know. And shouts to H, he was like, yo, shouts to the 35 Cypher and all that. And I was like,
Very
yo,
important.
and I was like, yo, it's
Very
all good.
important.
I'm used to not being mentioned. I just gotta work harder to make sure it's undeniable. You feel me?
But
So-
it's a beautiful moment, I think, and not just for yourself, but like in general for all people that not just make art, but just in general. Like, it's a beautiful story because you've spent the last couple of years, like you were telling me before, making the Dirty Lens community, right? MIA shooters, right?
MIA shooters, yeah.
Yeah. So can you explain for those listening that aren't aware? You give a little bit of a premise to that. What exactly that was that you were doing for people that.
Yeah. Well, before I get to that, let me just say Agony just forgot. You know what I mean? Like, shouts to him. He was like,
He didn't. Yeah,
He didn't mean
mention
to
'cause
not
you weren't
mention me or
working as
whatever.
hard. Yeah, and then
yeah. He
and at
told
the end
me,
of the day, shout out to him because
Yeah.
that motivated you to go harder, which is beautiful. And I love how in the beginning of that record
Exactly.
you have a whole like 4 or 5 back-to-back bars.
I'm in agony, stuck in this hall of mirrors. Ain't nothing changed except everything. I'm feeling clearer. Put a shotty to your face, you ain't gon' shoot it out. These are random acts of violence. Hope you believe them now. Yeah, Miami Veteran. Even if I don't put music out, I'm still a decade in. Half of y'all don't believe in God, so said amen. We gon' take them to church. Emoji prayer hands.
Where you mentioned Shoddy, you mentioned Agony. And
oh
things
yeah,
like
that was a
somebody else.
play on like all the new albums that had just
And
dropped.
their album names. That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
genius.
yeah.
And it's like that's powerful that you're not just shouting them out in real life with all these events and giving everybody platforms to shine. You're putting them on their records, dude. That's
Yeah.
it's off, the bars are raw too, but just the idea behind that's powerful, dog. So
Yeah,
and that
it's on
just goes
some
hand in
freestyle
hand
shit, you know, just
with the MIA shooters
not
thing,
thinking a lot.
which you just kind of gave everybody opportunities. You were doing like public events with the MIA shooters. That's kind of what it was. That's just to give
So
everybody. a quick
both
gist of that.
communities stemmed from the same thing. It came from a need of me wanting to learn and be a part of the community that's out here of these respective things, you know. So the best way to do that is to start your own community. You know what I'm saying? Start a platform where people could come and learn with you. You know what I'm saying? Chances are there's somebody out there that's in the same position you are, type shit. You know what I mean? So there's always a space for a platform like that to, you know, to have its place in the community and shit.
Facts.
So that's really all it was, man. Just trying to create opportunities, you know what I mean, where everybody could come together, learn, collaborate, and grow and network.
And you did the photography community, like those events before, like we were doing the ciphers.
I started 35 first. I started 35 in 2012, and then started doing events and more community shit like in 2017.
Nice. Wow.
So
Consistency.
that's when it got like, you know, before that it was just making music and shouting out 35 and stuff like that.
Still a decade in. You said it. You
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
say it on the Miami.
Yeah,
Veteran.
yeah,
You
it's
guys
been a
hear that
decade,
song?
literally.
Yeah, been a decade in.